Hello and welcome to the Wedding Dish Podcast. Grab your fork and knife and take a seat at our table as we dish on all things weddings. You'll hear stories and tips from real couples and wedding pros about love, life, and entrepreneurship. I am Sarah Alapin. I'm the host of The Wedding Dish and CEO of Photos from the Hardy and District Bliss. And today I have my little French bulldog bud taking a nap in a sunspot in must be nice. A good way to start our Friday recording. And today I am so excited to have this guest on the Wedding Dish. She's actually been here before. I think she was here in season one, and we had such a great time together that now we're coming back. So we are going to be dishing today with the manager of Perfekt.band, Jacque Pitts. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me back. Definitely, I think it's been almost 3 years.
Yeah, I think it was 2019. I think it was fall 2019.
It was like I'm trying to remember, but it seems like yesterday.
I know. Well, it's kind of like those 2 COVID years, like, you can't count them because you didn't see anyone in person, and we, of course, got to record in person the last time.
Yeah, definitely. I remember that. Got to meet
Yes.
my favorite bulldog friend.
Oh my gosh, he's sitting right here. His ears are up. He's definitely wondering why he isn't able to participate and get all the scratchies.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I'm excited to dish with you today because we're actually working together on an in person event that's coming up in January. So, January 22nd, we're hosting a couple social, and it's a super fun event. And we're going to have Perfekt Blend Band at the event, like providing music. So,
Yeah.
um, it's just, I'm so excited. Okay. So, all right. So, I know that there's a lot of kind of hype surrounding having a DJ versus a band, and there's a lot of like questions surrounding how you choose which one is the right fit for you. So to start off, how do you go about, what is the difference in the overall experience of a DJ versus a band or a DJ and a band? What's the difference between the experience of the day itself?
Yeah, definitely. It's like there are positives for both. So want to debunk that DJs and bands don't work together or they are like against each other. That's not even the case. When deciding whether you want a DJ or a band or a combination, it has to be like, who are you as a couple? If you are traditionally, a person that likes live music, you probably would not be as happy with a DJ because you don't have anybody to interact with. You do have some DJs that are very vocal and they are interactive with the guests that are there, but then you have those who are very good at their craft. They're just not interactive. So the plus of having a band is you have that interaction with the guests, with the band, with the singers, with the musicians. So I think you just have to really what is you the when you're picking your music or picking your entertainment options, going and saying, who am I or who are we, and what makes you go, wow, this was amazing. And if DJs are your thing, then by all means do the DJ, because if there's some things that DJs can do that bands can't, and there's some things bands can do that DJs can't. And so trying to fit what my mom used to say, a round peg in a square hole, that's when you have issues, when your expectations aren't met. But when you are literally like, this is who I am. I love concerts and I love, going and seeing the band and watching them play and, doing all the things that live music lovers like, then I would say check the band option. And it doesn't always have to be the band is so out of your budget. Because I believe there's a band for every budget, just like
Oh
there's a
yeah.
DJ for every budget.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, there's a human element to having a band that doesn't always exist in the same way as a DJ. And
Mhm.
there's there's so many differences between the two, but finding the part that is you is the most important piece, right? Like everything about your wedding, it should be your wedding.
It's
Um,
your wedding. And
yeah,
I think that people forget. It's like it's your wedding. It's a party that you're throwing really for yourself, um, to showcase to others, about you as a couple. And so it should be 100% about you. How do
Yeah.
I feel? What makes me happy? And we tend to go, well, my mom wants this, or my somebody else in the family wants that, or I was told that weddings need to have this, 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 and this. And it's kind of like, who said, who said?
Yeah.
When I was a wedding planner, when I started being a wedding planner 355 million years ago, we had, that Bible. What was her name? Um, Oh, Emily Post. Emily Post. She told everyone, had this big thick book of the rules of weddings and what you should and should not do. It was this all these very um stuffy, for lack of a better word, rules for people who don't live like that. And so now you're like, oh, I'm getting a wedding. All of a sudden I have to be, Prince Charles, and
Yeah.
when I'm doing this, things have to be this way. It has to be ordered this way. You have to have this and you have to have that. And I'm like, do you even operate like that? Like, do you live like that? Why would you make yourself uncomfortable on the day that is supposed to be honoring who you are, and what you're becoming? I think it was backwards. And I won't lie. I was one of those wedding planners that's like, but the etiquette says, but then when you realize that there's a very few people who live by the etiquette of weddings, um, it needs to be just fun. You don't want to leave your wedding ceremony, reception stressed.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. And so that's why I will say, just really look at yourself, and it's okay. Whatever you choose, it's okay. Whatever you choose, it's right for you. It may not be right for your friend who said, "Oh, I had this, this, and that." You're not them.
That's so true. That's
Yeah.
so true. I could not agree with you more. And actually, you just teed me up perfectly for the next question I have on my list. So how important is the music to the overall wedding experience? And what are some of the things that you should consider when choosing your playlist for your wedding day?
um, I would say the things that I would say that you need to really consider is, again, goes back to just being uniquely you. Pick the music that you listen to, not the music that your guests want to hear. And I know that may kind of sound controversial because everybody's like, what do your guests want? And when are they? They're coming to your party. you
Yeah.
know, it's like inviting people to your house to eat and then asking them what you want to serve. Like, what would you like me to serve at the thing that I'm inviting you up to my house for? You wouldn't do that. You're saying, I'm inviting you to dinner. And then they come and this is what you have, and they can partake or not partake. You can be a gracious host and be like, oh, my friends listen to all of this. But if it's not you, I cannot ring this bell loud enough. If this is not you, you will not enjoy it. So pick music that is uniquely who you are. I used to tell people to like edify the union, but that's not always what you listen to. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there's a there used to be like, oh, you have to be like my girl for the daughter daddy daughter dance, and you have to do something where you're like pouring wisdom into, this is the last dance that I'm having with all that other stuff. And yes, that's wonderful and great, but do you and your dad interact like that?
Yeah.
you know if that's not you, and you and your dad are like, we love Guns N' Roses, or
Yeah.
then that's your song. That's your song because it means something to you and your dad. It has nothing to do with what it traditionally needs to be. And I'm in a lot of Facebook groups where they're like, oh, guys, give me ideas of what this song should be and what this song should be. And it's like, I can't tell you. I can't tell
Yeah.
you what that is. My husband and I, our one of our favorite songs is the jingle from a Ritz cracker commercial. like It's like when it comes on, when we're feeling all kinds of lovey-dovey, we'll just send the YouTube of like, there's this video, and it's not I mean, it probably is a song. I think he Googled it and it was an actual song, but it was like the song that we liked was the 30-second Ritz commercial portion of the song. And we send it to each other. We've been doing it for like 15 years now. and be like,
Oh
"Oh,
my
remember
gosh.
this song here," you know? And so it's just because it meant something to us when we heard it, it brought something to us. So that's kind of what I would say when you're making that selection is start with who are we? What do I like? What makes me happy? If you want input from your family and friends, get that, but that is just that. It's just an opinion. You are the final say so. And then I would also say with it, whether it's a DJ or a band, rely on their expertise. This will may be your first, maybe more than that wedding, but we've done multiple. So we can give you ideas of, hey, we're this kind of, oh yeah, we did it for this couple. This is some of the things that they did. And you can go, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't think we could do this. So ask your expert, your vendor questions, and then they can help you sort through all the noise of what it is that you're trying to do.
Yes. Yeah, you chose that vendor for a reason, so use their expertise. And
Definitely,
they
definitely.
can change the way that the song sounds. So, if you want to embed something that's like spicy or funny, like you all enjoy, they can change the way that it sounds so that it's kind of like an inside joke between you and your significant other, or you
Definitely.
and like your other, sister-in-law, that you have this special thing that you both love, and then it's just kind of like an Easter egg in the day.
Yeah, it's definitely that. It's like, again, there's some manipulation that DJs can do, but definitely there's more customization that you can do with a live band because, like you said, I love Don't Stop Believing, but I really like jazz. Hey, let's do a jazz version of Don't Stop Believing. Can you do that? Yes, you sure can. So
Yeah.
it's like when you've got that kind of flexibility, you're able to do that with a band. I will put an asterisk here. You can't, I would not go to a live entertainer and say, all of these music songs, we would like, these 30, 50, 100 songs, we need them all to be rock-esque or something like that. They probably will be able to do it, but then, there's going to be some additional compensation needed for
Yeah.
like fully customization. But again, that might be what you want. You may want, um, perfect example of a group, Postmodern Jukebox. That's all they do. They take other people's songs and revamp it. It's the same, as the words are the same, but the feel is different. So it's just a matter of having that knowledge and having that team, um, that working relationship with that live entertainment team that says, this is what I really want to do. And is it possible, or are you able to do that? I think that would be the question is, all bands, all DJs are not alike. Are you able to do this? And if you are, this is what I'm looking at. And then being able to have that conversation so that we can manage expectations. That is kind of like the hardest thing to do. Is like, if I don't know and you didn't say, how am I supposed to manage that expectation if I don't know?
Yeah, that's absolutely accurate. I love that. And okay, so we kind of talked about this offline, and I think that this is such an important piece, and you did such an amazing job explaining it. I wish I'd
I have
been
to try
recording.
try all those words, like bring it
I know.
back, bring it back.
So I want to have you talk a little bit about how music goes into setting the tone for different events during your wedding day. So from guests arriving to the ceremony to cocktail hour to dinner to reception, etc. Those different the different pieces that then become the soundtrack for
Yeah,
like how I'm teeing you up there.
yeah, I see
Those big
that. I see that. You're
yeah.
giving my words back to me. It's like, definitely, yes. Like we were saying before, it's like, I think if we should all kind of change the way we look at entertainment vendors. Entertainment vendors are, like you said, the soundtrack to your day. So what does that soundtrack do? And if you think of it as a movie, the soundtrack moves the movie along. It's that unspoken thing that you don't even pay attention, but if it was gone, you'd notice it. Um, as you know, when in a dramatic scene, you don't even have to be in the room. The music gets intense. You're like, something is happening. I want to see what something is happening. Something's exciting. You hear the excitement in the music. Um, somebody's falling in love and it's the, love, music going in. And usually at the end, it's this big congratulatory, like, oh my God, you did it type of music. So when you're looking at your live entertainment, whether it's a DJ or a band, they should be walking you through your day. You're setting the tone from the ceremony, if that's where you're having music, all the way until you walk out as a couple, that the music should be that soundtrack. Some of it will be noticeable and some of it won't be, but it should be a building of the day. I'm getting you excited. Like, okay, we got you through the ceremony, but guess what's next? It's the cocktail hour. Oh my gosh, we're at the cocktail hour, but guess what's next? It's the dinner. Oh my goodness, this dinner is great. I'm having this wonderful conversation. And then it's like, guess what's next? It should be like a building that you're, by the time it gets to the party portion of your day, they are so excited and so ready for it because we've been setting those little, gems, putting that into them the entire day, that when they get to that part, it's like all they can do is, but yes, party, I'm ready to do this, because we've already kind of set that tone and that expectation. So that would be what I would say. Um, Choose entertainment based on the experience you would like to have. And I would say you, and then maybe subcategory your guests. What is the experience you would like to have? If you're like, I'm the person walking in the cornfield with daisies around me and airy music, then, maybe it's more of a song or music that is more like, Beach Boys, something very whimsical, instead of I want this feeling and then I have hard rock. That changes the whole atmosphere of what you're doing. So it's just a matter of what atmosphere that you would like to be set, and then that professional should be able to help you achieve that.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, when you think about movies that you've seen, and I'm choosing literally the worst example here, but it is the one that I have in my brain, and I'm actually a little embarrassed I'm gonna say it. It's like I could breeze by this, but it's the only two I could think of were Titanic and Star Wars. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, I'm going with Titanic here. So when you think of the soundtrack to Titanic, if you removed any piece of it, it would change the whole story. You intuitively know, like, these are romantic moments, or like these are fun moments when they're dancing. But the one song you actually remember is that Celine Dion song, My
Very
Heart
much
Will.
so.
Yeah. So there's
Hmm.
like, there, not every song has to be like big and meaningful and a loud piece to your day. But it's kind of like there will be those moments too. And I
Yeah.
love the idea that it is a soundtrack, and sometimes it's okay that it's kind of in the background and but everyone is still enjoying the existence of the music,
Yes.
which I think is a really important piece too.
Yeah. And there's a science to it as well. Um, Everything, there's no mistakes in the things that people put out there using the Titanic. That song
Yeah.
was teed up, that song was teed up to be what it was.
Yeah.
So they couldn't have put My Heart Will Go On in the beginning, because you wouldn't have
Mhm.
known what it was talking about, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't have made sense at the end. So it's like, where it was put was strategically placed there because of
Yes.
where they were trying to take you in the movie. And so that was the almost one of the pivotal points in the movie, where you began to care about the two main characters and the journey that they're trying to take together.
Yeah.
And so when you think of the music that way, then you go, oh, I can hear that, like when Hamilton came out, like right during COVID and everybody could see it. And I don't know about you and your family, but we know the Hamilton soundtrack in and out, backwards and forwards, have the lyric book, like, like we love it. But
That's amazing.
my children now have gotten so excited that they play the instrumental of the soundtrack and can tell you what was going on when those songs were playing, because they hear, okay, this is when Hamilton came and he was talking to, okay, and now they're in the office. They're like, okay, now they're walking here, and like they know, and there's no words, there's no lyrics to it, but they know with the music where it was going, and that's literally what you're trying to do with your music. Is that you're picking, you're setting the scene. And then I would say also one of the things that we get a lot is people wanting to pick every song that is in the set, whether it's a DJ or a band. And I would say don't do that. And the only reason why I would put that piece of advice out there is that you're thinking in bullet points and the live entertainment is thinking feel. So
Yeah.
I want Don't Stop Believing, but then I also want, Bruno Mars, whatever the song is, and then I want this country song. Yes, they're all three great songs, but they don't work together. And so I can't walk from, Don't Stop Believing to Finesse from Bruno Mars. There's no easy transition. So I have to walk it up to there. I can have these three songs, but I have to fill it in with other songs to get me, whether it's key changes or tempo changes or, whatever the vibe change. I can't take you from rock this to something else because those abrupt changes is what clears dance floors.
Yes,
And if,
exactly.
it's that abrupt change, you're like, oh my God, that's the fit. What? Okay. And they walk off. And it's not because they didn't like the song. It was because there was no transition to get
Yes.
them to that. And again, working with a professional will help you go, oh, I need to get from here to here. So I need to fill in this space to get you to here because I can't just turn on, turn off. We're not Spotify. Spotify does that. They literally go, oh, we like this song and we're going to play this. Oh, you said you like this song too. We're going to play that. Had nothing to do with each other. And you're like, why did you pair these two together? Like, that doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. So that's the great part of working with a professional for them because they can take their expertise and say, okay, to get from Don't Stop Believing to Finesse, this is what we're going to need to do and make it work. So it's a collaborative thing. Like, here are the songs I would like to hear. Or what we do is say, what are the styles of music you would like to hear? Because that gives us creative freedom to walk you to where you need to be instead of forcing us to fit a mold. Again, the round peg, square peg, round hole. That's it.
Yeah.
Trying to fit it in there so that we check off the points that you have. So it's just like you don't go to the baker and tell them what ingredients to put into your cake. You tell them what the cake needs to look like at the end. And it's their expertise that you're trusting and hiring to bring you this cake. Use that same type of decision making process when it comes to live entertainment. The performance is the cake. You're asking them for a chocolate cake, yes, so that you're being specific. It's not just any old cake. Bring me any cake. I want a chocolate cake. I want a German chocolate. You keep drilling down to what you need, but you're still not telling them what to do or how to make it in the kitchen. You're
Yeah.
relying on their expertise.
And to go back to what you were saying about the soundtrack, the music is changing the story arc. And if you were
Mhm.
to take the pieces of the, like, I hate that we're using Titanic, a boat that sank and people died, but I've walked into it and now I'm going to stand in the
We're
space
gonna
of it.
stand firm with the Titanic.
But if Jack and Rose had the car scene with the hand on where you clearly know that they were having an intimate moment, before they did the dance in the lower part of the boat. Now I'm not even doing a
Mhm.
good job describing it. But if you change the order of the movie, then it changes the way that you interpret the entire thing. So like, you can't take those
Definitely.
pieces. So the music is actually, like, at your wedding day, kind of walking you through the vibe or the story arc and telling your guests what energy level they should be at too.
Definitely.
Um,
What energy level, what is the vibe of this entire event? Like, what am I doing? Automatically, if you walk into a wedding and they're like literally playing um, harp music and there's strings coming in, you automatically go, okay, this is a little bit more formal than someone belting out, Etta James. That's more like, okay, this is more like loungy type of vibe. So you've already kind of set what it is, the expectation, like this is going to be a little bit more formal. But here we are, was one of the questions I think you're going to ask me. About the uniqueness. The great thing about live musician is like, yes, you like the sound of strings. You do not like classical music. Okay, let's play My Heart Will Go On the strings. Let's play Don't Stop Believing on the strings. Like, because you create the environment of this is a very upscale, put together thing, but then you get that your unique thing. But we are so, Journey. We listen to Journey. We are so Bruno Mars. This is who we are. So you've creatively melded, the two worlds so that again, it's uniquely you. And that's the great thing about having a live musician, that you can uniquely you any song. And of course, for our band, our musicians love it when you go and say, I would like it to be this song, but I want it to feel this way. That gets their creative juices going, and that's exciting. We can always play the recording, we can always do our version of the song, but when you're like, hey, I really want it to be unique, then they're like, okay, let's do this, let's figure out what unique looks like to you.
Yeah. And I really want it to be elegant, but I want it to be back that ass up. And
Yeah,
you can still make that.
and you can do it, and we have done it. So you're like, did it's and it's like when we're doing things, that's like we did a wedding a while back, and literally it was low key, all the raunchiest songs you've ever heard, but it was instrumental, and it came across very thick. Like you would see people's eyes go, is that what I think? And that part, those are the hidden gems. Those are the ones you're like, oh my goodness, that is that song. I didn't, oh, that is so cool. And it's those things that you want the uniqueness to be. I think that makes you happy. It gives again, you're moving your event and creating the atmosphere for your guests, but you're also giving them those hidden gems that gets their mind working. Like, if they're doing this here, what are they doing next? So now I'm
Yes.
excited.
Yeah. I totally agree. I totally agree. And it's like it makes it more fun because it makes you kind of, as you discover that there are these like kind of hidden gems or Easter eggs like in the actual music, it makes you feel a more personal connection with the couple that's getting married.
Yeah,
Because you're like, is that the Super Mario's Brother song?
we did that because of course I listen to music and I don't play video games, but I know from back in again 1902 when the Super Mario's came out, I knew some of it. But they literally the band took the Wii, the Wii game console. There's like a hold song that they do when you're like transitioning or creating your character, and they've literally put it in as a transition song. And then you'll see people's head like they're talking, they go, and then they're like having trying to figure like, I know this song. Where is this song from? What it's come. And then our one of our lead vocalists usually goes, "Did y'all hear that?" you know, how many of y'all have a Wii? And then they go, oh, the Wii. So it's just again creating those little hidden gems within songs, and that was something that the band came up with. They're like, this transition works perfect because these songs are similar, but we can put this inside in the middle, and we can put it in there. So I think that is one of the, if I can, ring the live band things, one of the things that we can do that I feel we do uniquely different. I don't want to see better because I don't want to be a competition with the DJ, but we can uniquely do for you to help you create that signature experience for your day.
I completely agree. Um, I love that so much. I love music. Anything like that. i- I'm a big audio person, so I love like the way that it can kind of take you on a journey through the different. I love that we were talking about journey, and now I'm quoting.
I put all those seeds into you, so when we had this conversation,
I know, I know. It was like before we started recording behind the scenes, Jackie was like just went through a list of things that she was excited about, like, and was telling me, about weddings and what like lights her on fire. And I was like, you just answered every single one of my questions on my
I knew. I just tapped in. I tapped into Sarah's brain before and said, these are the things that we're going to talk about. So
It's crazy in there.
mine is too. Mine is too. I was like, I might look like I'm doing good, but there's probably people like that. Remember the Disney? Is it Pixar? Disney Pixar Inside Out, where the people in the brain, the little characters, are going around having the fight. It's like literally, the angry flame and the blue moody person are having a a whole fight right now. Like,
For me, it's more like Indiana Jones in
oh,
there, I would imagine. But I love
like
that we're still doing the movie thing here.
yeah, we're swinging over the snakes in the pyramid. So.
Exactly. Um, so what recommendations do you have for couples who are looking for like an alternative or like non-traditional or offbeat music option for their special dances? So like parent dances or first dance or grand entrance or the processional or recessional, that kind of thing.
I would start first with is it important to me? Just because it's a traditional wedding moment, is it important to me? Does it matter what my mom and dad walk into in the ceremony? Or does it matter what I receive my significant other to? That's significant to me. I'm seeing him or her for the first time because we didn't do a first look, or we did a first look, but this is the first time they're coming to me or I'm going to them. Is that what matters? If everything else doesn't matter, then it could be just the soundtrack, music that is this and that is that. Because especially in a ceremony, a typical ceremony should not be more than 30 minutes. An hour if we're doing full Catholic regalia and all kinds of stuff, and that's still kind of pushing it. You have
Yeah.
3,000 people walking in and out, which again, I strongly suggest you don't do that, but it's your wedding, be uniquely you.
Yeah.
But
If
it's like,
that is you, then do
then
it. If
if
it is
you
not
have
you,
it,
don't.
yes. But if it's not important, don't make it important. Don't give energy to those things. You just don't want them walking down in silence. If you have a musician, have the keyboardist or saxophonist or guitar player, just play some music so that you have something that they're walking down to. If you need like audible cues, like I need to know when it's the next thing, then you just let them know I need four different types of music so that I know, or the wedding planner knows when the next thing is supposed to go. Then those things I would say, do that. Like don't I see too many couples spend so much energy on the songs that last 30 seconds that it's crazy. They're like, oh my goodness, I need to pick this song, I need to pick this song. And then we're like, literally, unless you are walking like a snail, it only takes you 30 seconds, if that, to get from the end of the aisle to the top of And even if you're doing the long stop and rock stroll, it still shouldn't take you more than a minute to get in. Nobody is going to stand for the full 3-minute song. You're not going to hear the song. And even when we're talking to them about these songs, what is the important part of the song? And no one's ever thought about it.
Yeah.
No one's ever thought like, oh, the important part is like, what are you trying to say in the song? Is it the first part of the verse? It's not even the verse. It's just the hook and the chorus. Like, what is it that is important? Because if you don't say it, you're not going to get what you need all the way out through your day. So I would say that would be my first thing is like focus your entertainment or your music choices on the things that are uniquely important to you, and then build out. If like I said, your significant other coming towards you, or you to them, this is important to me because this song it made us cry, was played the first time we danced together. Okay, those things make sense. As far as like cocktail hour, honestly, Cocktail hour is glorified background music. No one is sitting there going, "Oh, that's Bruno Mars. Oh, that's Ed Sheeran. Oh, that," they may be like, "Oh, this is great," but they're literally, "I haven't seen you in a long time. Can't you believe that Justin and Jennifer are getting married?" Or, John and Mike are finally doing it, and now we're doing, and they're talking, they're
Yeah.
socializing,
They're
getting
hugging. It's
they're
all lots of
hugging, they're
loud smiles and
loud talking, energy put here, unless you're doing something experiential, like there's a thematic thing that's going through, which we are love to do as well. Like we are walking them into an experience. You decided to have a themed wedding, and the ceremony was the opening door into this roaring 20s, you know, um, bar lounge area, and so this thing has to feel thematic. Those are the
yeah.
things where you're like, okay, let's put some energy into it. But majority weddings, it's just the networking time of, I
Yeah.
haven't seen you in so long, oh my goodness, can you believe, you know
I love
transition.
your dress.
I love your dress. Did you see how great they looked? Oh my goodness. You know, Snacky, I'm so hungry. I can't wait for the dinner. Those are the conversations that are tend to be happening during cocktail hour while the room is being flipped. It's not that top of mind to anybody, unless, of course, you make it top of mind, like I said, with a thematic thing. Then you get to dinner, and that's again another non climactic instrumental music, or could be some vocals in there, but it's background music because they're eating and they're again socializing at a table. Just think about the music that's playing in a restaurant. you're not you're aware that music is playing, but you may not be aware of what is playing until it's something you're like, oh my gosh, that's the song I've always wanted. I love this song. And you start singing around aloud. But again, it's not the main focus.
Yeah.
When we start going into like the reception and the special dances, again, we're back to what is important. It's like, I guess it's like, if the theme of this whole conversation is like, what is important to you? Um, we've had, couples where the father has passed, and so it's a mother-daughter dance in honor of the father. That made sense. It was the Luther Vandross song, Dance with My Father Again. And that was an emotional time. It was for everybody, because even while we were singing it, we're emotional because they're emotional, because it meant something to them. It wasn't the check off. We've had we did one wedding where the father of the bride used to play this one song. It's not coming to my mind, but it was something he played to her when she was little. Basically, it was like, I would, something about Haley's Comet. I can't remember the name of the song. It's going to come to me right after we're done.
Is it the
Um,
train song?
no,
Oh
no,
no,
it
I
was
just saw Haley's Comet. I'm terrible at
No,
singing.
no, 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 no. It wasn't that. It was I can't remember the name of it, but the words, because when the band first got it, they're like, "Oh no, this is so dry." But then when they were like, "This is the verse of the song and the chorus," it was literally like the song. The essence of the song was the comet was coming, and he was looking for it, and it came the day that you were born, and now it's coming again. On this day that you're becoming a woman, and it
Aw.
meant something, because again, that song meant something to him when he was singing it to her when she was little. So this was the perfect transition song. Like, you were like my Haley's Comet. We didn't know you were coming, and now this is the Haley's Comet for you, your new transition into life. Oh my goodness, tears everywhere. And it was not the for us, not the great melodic song and big ballad thing, but it meant something to them. So those are the things that I would say, pick those songs. And if it doesn't mean anything, we've done things where there are no parent dances. They don't have that relationship.
Yep.
Okay. Don't feel like you have to force it. The most awkward thing to be is at a wedding where a father daughter or a mother son or whatever combination thereof are trying to do the traditions, and you see it in their body language that it is not who they are, and it
Yeah.
makes it awkward. It's already a time where it feels like paint is drying at the slowest pace, and you want to play 2 minutes of a song, and you're going and telling them, I was like, let me tell you, after 15 seconds of swinging, you're going to feel like you've been out there for an hour. They're like, no, we're not. It's like, yes, listen to a song and literally count 30 seconds. It is exhaustively long, especially when you're paying attention to it. Not like I'm driving and we're reading the radio and I'm doing other things, I'm being distracted. No, this is the main focus. We're watching you dance,
Yeah.
and you have to dance and sway in a situation that you would never be in. You are it's the creepiest feeling, and
It is super weird. Like I felt awkward.
it's like you're like, I never danced with my dad before. Like, and now I'm dancing with him in front of everybody. And how do I feel about this? I'm already self-conscious. I'm trying to make sure my hair is okay and my dress is like, and now I'm doing this little awkward, rock thing with my dad that I would never do. Then don't do that. If you want to honor him, do whatever. Again, because journey is in our brain. Do the don't stop believing, dance where you guys don't have to dance close and rock to each other. You can still honor him a certain way. So just again, like just be uniquely you. There's etiquette rules, but I mean, eh, whatever,
They're guidelines, like at best, they're suggestions. They are
there's
not hard
suggestions.
and
Yeah.
fast rules.
Yeah, there's suggestions. The only thing I would tell my brides back in the day, again, 300 years ago, when I was a wedding planner, I would say the only thing that's important about this day is you and your significant other. Nothing else matters. No one's going to remember. No one's going to remember what you ate. No one's going to remember the flowers on the table. No one's going to remember, the cake that they ate. They're not going to remember. They're not going to remember the fancy acrylic stationery that they're going to do. They're not going to remember. What do you want to remember? And then that's how you paint this picture. And then when you're painting the picture, think of it like a movie. Like what do I hear in the background when this moment is happening? Because you will remember. You will remember the song that was played on at your first dance. You'll be talking about that for the rest of your marriage. You're going to remember that you cried on your mom's shoulder, remembering your dad because he couldn't be there. And you're going to remember the song that was played. You may or may not remember the cake cutting song. You may or may not remember the garter, if we still do that, the garter toss song, you know, the bouquet toss song. Like those are not memorable moments. You will remember that the caravan or the train that you guys walked around the thing to this your favorite, song. You'll remember that. So those are the moments that we try to like emphasize, because those things you'll remember. The other stuff, they'll fly past you so fast that you're not even gonna. It's like you woke up one morning and then you're already back at your hotel room. You're like, did we get married? Like, did we have a whole party? Yes, it was a whole 12 hours of things happening, and you remember nothing. You know, and the moment was caught by a photographer and a videographer. I would say, here's my shameless plug for other vendors. If you need to splurge on anything, vendors, photographers, videographers, they are the timekeepers, the time capsule people of your wedding. Though their job is to remember the things that you will quickly forget if it wasn't brought to your attention. So that's my shameless plug for photographers and videographers.
I could not agree more. Yes. And the things you didn't know happened too, because there's always the guest experiences that you don't know were going on. Like so and so cried during your ceremony and you had no idea that they've never been emotional before. All the things.
All of that, yes. Definitely splurge there, because those last way after the day. Um, don't forget us band people. We would like to be there, but
Yeah.
the photos and the videos are there for years to come. So definitely, when prioritizing dollars, like I want to make sure it's memorialized. That my daughter, which has nothing to do with weddings, but my daughter would say, if it's not recorded, it never happened. And I'm sitting there like, it did, but I understand what you're saying.
I love it. Well, Jackie, thank you so much for joining me on the wedding dish today. It's been so much fun talking to you about music and the different ways you can use music to express your relationship and bring people through your day and travel through your day and the story arc of it. Where can our listeners find you online? Where can they find the Perfect Blend Band online?
Perfect. We're more active on Instagram, so we are at Perfect Blend Band, and we're perfect with a K, so Perfekt Blend Band. Um, our Facebook page, I don't know who's on Facebook anymore. Depending on your generation, we're on Facebook again, Perfect Blend Band. Our website is, we keep it simple, perfektblend.band, where you can find us. But definitely, communicate with us the way that it works for you. If you want to DM through Instagram, send us there. If you want to send us a message through Facebook, you can send us there. Go to the website. You can connect on our contact form. If you want to send us a text, our number is 703-672-3167. That number accepts text, and we'll be more than happy to text back and schedule an appointment. We want you to feel that the band for us is a part of your team and not a chore that has to be checked off. So as long as we can do that for you, then we believe we're a great fit for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And while you all are going and finding Perfect with a K Blend Band on Instagram, social media, their website, you can find The Wedding Dish at The Wedding Dish Podcast on Instagram and I think Facebook.
It was like,
Um, theweddingdishpodcast.com for our show notes. Of course, we will link out to Jackie and the Perfect Blend Band on our description here. And if you would like to meet Jackie in real life and me, and get to experience what we're talking about with the Perfect Blend Band and the music that they are playing, please join us at our couples social at Mess Hall in DC on January 22nd, 2023. It'll be a super fun event that is just very low pressure and just it's like going to your wedding day without having all of the pieces where you get to just be there as a guest, kind of, but like a very special guest. And
yes.
it will be so much fun. You'll get to meet them in real life. And don't forget to tune in next week to The Wedding Dish. We have another amazing guest coming up. I am really excited. And follow, rate, and review all the good stuff. Until we meet again. Cheers, everybody.